Okay, for the next and top selling midge pupa on Full and Mill is the Black Mirage Buzzer. This is it's a great fly to. I actually had a really good 2 or 3 days with this one time, especially in the small loch that I used to manage. It was so deadly that I could have tied them all. I could have tied them all season. But the bigger size was the best size. But anyway, it's quite a nice fly to tie. Again, I'm using this as a Full and Mill competition heavyweight hook. 10s, this is a size 10, 10s and 12s. Obviously they sell in the black nickel, but you can get the smaller size and 14s and the bronze. But this is it's a great hook, really strong. If you want to go lighter, the all-purpose mediums are the one to go for. So anyway, thread for the black fly is the black thread. Obviously, this is the UTC, and the 70, which is the finer of the two that UT sell. We just basically start at the top, come down about a thorax length, and then we remove the waist. Now the rib of the fly, just to give it the sort of the shape and the rib of the fly, or the midge pupa, I'm going to use the black. And you could use white on this. I've used white flexifloss on this before, or stretch floss. As I say, there's quite a few brands. They're all much the same. But I'm using black, as you can see, and I'm going to work my way down. You can come round the bend slightly if you wish. I'm just going to come back up. And all the way back up to that point. I'm going to stretch. Now the reason for this small tip, I'll leave a wee bit so I can stretch and trim it away. You will always get a neater cut if you do that. And again, to get the nice taper, nice and tight with the rib. 3 turns, then we start to slightly loosen off, and then we catch it in. You don't want it too heavy. It's up to yourself, it depends on what you're looking for, and trim away the waist. Now at the back of this I'm using the holographic, the chartreuse. This is a medium sized holographic tinsel. Just going to catch it in, and then at the same time tidy this area up. You only need a turn or two with this. So there's 1, 2, and then we catch it. Let me check. A wee bit of the colour coming off there, so sometimes you get that with the holographics. So if you're not happy, you've got to go back. If you're not happy, go back. Let's see where we are. Sometimes it just comes off or rubs off. Try your best to, some of the holographics nowadays is to, as you coat them with the resin, it protects that. Again, I'll just, enough for 2 turns, so that's a bit better. Catch that in. Turn away. Now in this one there's actually a thorax cover, so you can either catch it just now or the way back up. So it's an Opal Mirage. You can use the medium or the large. I'm using the medium here, this one. Just catch it on the way back down, or the way down, sorry, and then we can get it, sort it on the way back up. So all the way towards the eye, and then we're using a chartreuse coloured flexifloss. And then again, just fold it around the thread about 1 inch. Bring the thread to the underside, and then keep it under there and wind up. Oops, caught my finger. Just be careful and work up to the holographic tinsel. And you can see we're tidying up on the top as well. And just build up a thorax. Just get some sort of taper, some sort of shape. And once you're happy, we can then half hitch. Now the reason for that is to stop the thread bouncing off while you're messing about with the wing buds. So we basically come over the top with a turn, and then we can basically tighten and pull this to suit. 3 or 4 turns. Bring over a thorax cover. Just ignore your flexifloss at this point. Don't be shy with the head. Just folding back thorax cover. And you stretch and break it and cut away flexifloss. We quick look, we can see the ends there, we can tidy it up. Nice and tight. It's going to get straight in but finish now. Trim away your thread. Trim away the tinsel. Basically that's your buzzer basically done. Now I'm going to highlight it. This is just a fluorescent orange. This is basically a paint, the acrylic paint, sorry, I don't remember the name there. It's acrylic paint, you can see it's really bright. And we're going to highlight the wing buds on this. Now the acrylic paint doesn't take a long time to dry, but we just highlight them at the back. It's amazing how well this works. And just allow that to dry before we use the resin on it. Now, looks like it's dry, so best thing to do if you're tying these flies is to do maybe half a dozen and then go back to the first one and it should be dry and ready for you to work through them. As I say, the acrylic paint doesn't take long. Now I've got the resin, UV resin. This is a light UV resin, so I'm going to highlight top of the midge, the head. Just set it. Now I'm going to highlight the wing buds. It's nice and light. Just rotate your vise if you can. This will set. You can see how that glows. I mean, obviously the UV torch is doing that, but when the light's right, they will stand out. And we'll go back to the resin, and it's a light coat all the way over. So I usually put a drop on the top here, rotate my vise, spreading it out, and then basically allowing the resin, scraping it towards the back, taking the resin away from the thorax and lightly take it towards the back. Just coat the body. Try and keep the shape of I usually sometimes take away the excess with my finger. You want to see the rib. You don't want that nice effect. You'll see that in the water. And then we can set the resin. Now, the reason for coating the resin with a varnish is to seal it. Basically, most resins, there's a slight residue comes off it. It's kind of tacky like, but it's very light nowadays. It's not a lot, and you can get rid of that by just keeping it under the UV light for a while. But giving it a coat of varnish just seals it and stops any water penetration getting underneath it. And you know when it's happened, if you do get water underneath the resin, it goes white. So you know if there's an issue, that's what's wrong. And then we get our varnish, obviously around the thorax. Now the varnish is very light, as I say. Once it dries, it practically goes away. Now it's important to take a wee lick of varnish onto the bare hook at the back, and that helps stop any water penetrating and under the resin. Same up at the eye, make sure. Two areas you want to make sure you want to varnish is there. And there we are. That's your Black Mirage buzzer or midge pupa. Another top fly. I mean, it's a really good pattern and very popular on the full mill.